Good day, America. Good day, and welcome to another episode of Truth to Freedom Podcast. Real talk for real people just like you. My name is James Parker, one half of the team here, and my other brother and partner in crime, Mr. Quentin Williams. Sir, how you doing today?
Doing well. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm looking forward to this conversation we're going to have today. America, my brother, he's very supportive of the co-op way. And so we did a couple of shows back on the co-ops, and he forwarded me another video about a co-op industry overseas that's very successful. So we're going to talk about it because I watched it, and then from that I did some more research and just trying to find out about this. And this is a strong, vibrant, productive company that's using the co-op template and is successful. And so as I was asking Quentin before we came on, I don't understand. So we're going to talk. I'm going to turn over to Quentin because his baby, and I don't know how to pronounce the company name over there, so I'll let him talk about it. But Quentin, go ahead and talk about the company and the background and whatever information you give out.
All right. So it's the Mondragon Corporation in Spain. So it's founded in 1956 by a professor and a few of his students. So basically, the town was poor, and it was hard for them to get jobs to stay. And so they just had this idea to found their own like company, employee owned. They own it, they run it, and it just grew from there. As of 2024, they have 70,000 employees all over Europe. They make, 2015, their revenue was $12 billion with a total assets of 24 billion. Sorry, that's euros. But it's a little bit more in US dollars. It's about 13 million in US dollars for revenue and 27 billion for assets. But it's a very successful company, and it goes to show that co-ops can work, and there are some very successful ones out there.
Well, and like we were saying before, the naysayers that want to put it out there that it's not going to work because they're driven by the profit. They want the profits. They want to hoard all the profit because with a co-op, we all share in the wealth. And so we get to vote, we get to have input in saying, and we're going to show a video here in a little bit about them. But I was watching it, and we had the conversation before. What's interesting is it gives everybody a piece of pie. So it gives everybody value. It gives everybody some input, see the word I'm looking for, but it gives everybody an interest. It gives everybody an interest in what they're doing. And so you're not just coming to work to be to work. You're coming to work because you are now an owner in this company. And the success of this company is based on your productivity, your neighbor's productivity, and everybody's productivity is now essential to the success of your company. So it gives everybody value, it gives everybody a self-purpose, it gives everybody worth. You can't go nowhere but up and be successful in an operation like that, because anybody that comes in there and tries to not be productive, you're going to get them out. So you're always going to have people around you that's trying to strive, and then to have input in how the company is structured, how it grows, which direction you go. I mean, it's like this a win-win. I mean, think about Amazon. If Amazon was a co-op and all those employees that he employed had input and the pie in to say what the direction of the company and how we structure our salary, just how much more profitable would they be? They're profitable now the way they're running, but can you imagine if they adopted the co-op plan? I mean, they would be, oh man, I mean, it'd make you sick, the money that they probably would make.
Yep.
I don't know.
It makes people feel valued. They feel like they matter, they mean something. So they're going to show up every day with a great attitude.
Yeah, well, something we don't have now at all.
Yeah.
All right, let me show this video I found about the world's largest workers. Who's talking about? We'll come back and have.
This 22,000-person town of Mondragon in Spain's Basque region is home to the world's largest worker cooperative network. The Mondragon Corporation was founded half a century ago by a young priest named Jose Maria Arizmendi Arrieta, and some of his acolytes. Today, Mondragon is an advanced industrial economy within itself, competing in global markets. The cooperative has found a way, crisis after crisis, to keep growing. Mondragon operates under the values of participation, innovation, social responsibility, and cooperation. The critical purpose of the firm is to benefit its members rather than its shareholders. The Mondragon system is one of 4 case studies analyzed in The Capital and The Debt Trap, a research monograph which summarized evidence claiming that cooperatives tend to last longer and are less susceptible to perverse incentives and other problems of organizational governance than more traditionally managed organizations. Workers in Mondragon have the right to participate in a democratic decision-making governance structure. They are given skill trainings and social safety nets to ensure sustainable employment, and they experience a work culture of solidarity and alliances. Interest in the Mondragon Corporation's time-tested model has surged. An increasing number of workers and business around the world are looking to this small town as a model to tackle wealth and income inequality. At the more than 100 cooperatives that form part of the Mondragon network, many of the workers are also owners. They set their own salaries in an annual vote and receive a share of their company's yearly profits. There are agreed-upon wage ratios between executive work and field or factory work. As a rule, managers can only earn 6 times more than the lowest-paid worker. At some companies, the gap is even smaller. Mondragon cooperatives are united by a humanist concept of business, a philosophy of participation and solidarity, and a shared business culture. The culture is rooted in a shared mission and a number of principles, corporate values, and business policies. The impact of Mondragon's vast corporate network, which employs 80,000 people globally, shows this type of business can be very successful. Many who are interested in starting their own worker cooperatives think that they need it as a new solution to old problems. The corporation's companies manufacture consumer goods, capital goods, industrial components, products, and systems for construction and services. Mondragon also runs Araski, one of the leading retail groups all over Spain and in southern France. Spain offers universal healthcare to its citizens, and Mondragon offers its own universal coverage system. The Mondragon pension system is now well aligned and fully integrated with the Spanish government system. Mondragon retirees receive 60% of their pension from the government and 40% from the Mondragon system. In total, they receive 80% of their former salary, enabling them to retire without having to make major shifts in their lifestyle. Considering that it's gotten so big, governance is also an issue that Mondragon has figured out really well, striking an important balance between the need for democratic decision-making and managerial discretion. Interest in worker co-ops tend to increase in times of crisis. For example, the number of such companies in the US doubled to more than 600 from 250 in the decade or so after the 2008 recession. The objective of the cooperative is not to produce rich people, it's to produce rich societies. It provides stable employment with some wealth-building opportunities. Co-ops also have the potential to allay some concerns that underpin the Great Resignation, such as frustrations about not having a say in workplace decision-making. According to an analysis of all businesses in Uruguay between 1997 and 2009, worker cooperatives have a 29% smaller chance of closure after controlling for variables such as industry. In Italy, worker crowd cooperatives that have been created by workers buying a business when it is facing a closure or put up to sale have a 3-year survival rate of 87%, compared to 48% of all Italian businesses. A study of Spanish and French worker cooperatives found that they have been more resilient than conventional enterprises. Although there are many different worker cooperatives that have a wide variety of internal structures, workers' cooperatives are organized to serve the needs of worker owners by generating benefits for the worker owners rather than external investors. This worker-driven orientation makes them fundamentally different from other corporations, but the model is not entirely absent of inequities. The Mondragon Corporation has many businesses in 32 countries, and not all of those are federated cooperatives. The rest are international production subsidiaries. Workers in those other locations are not members of the cooperatives, and thus do not participate in democratic governance. This structure has created a group of people who aren't owners, but whose labor Mondragon now depends on. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe for more. World of Finance TV.
So there you go. Success in the making. And two things I liked about that. The one was how they limit how much the upper management, because if you ever look at any structure of a company, that's where the majority of your money is going. And if you notice, when they run into financial issues, they don't cut their salary, they don't cut their bonuses, they don't cut none of their incentives. They always cut the employee. Employees are always the one getting blamed for everything. And they'll cut you, your salary, lay you off, whatever they need to do to bring the bottom line back up to standard. The employee is going to take the blunt of the hit. Nobody in the corporate office, nobody in the district office, none of them are going to take a hit for nothing. They never do. Y'all remember Enron when they collapsed, when they mismanaged the money. All them employees lost, some of them lost millions, just gone. Just they had nothing. They worked there for years. Now all of a sudden, nothing gone. All them employees suffered, but none of the management, CEOs suffered anything. They still got their severance package, corporate package, golden parachute package, whatever they call them now. They got their money. Even after all that, even after they had to file bankruptcy and they shut down and all them people lost it, they still got their money. So you see how unfair the way the structure is. And so that's why they probably don't want co-ops over here, because it'll cut the greedy man out. I don't know. And then the other structure I like is it's just, again, like we talked about before, how they all have a part in it. You know, I can't express more than make people feel like they're a part of. That's one of the problems where we work at. They don't make the employee feel like they're a part of. They're talked down to, they're harassed, they're this, they're that. Nobody feels like they're a part of the solution. And so you come to work, you feel you don't have no value. You just come to work to be coming to work because you got to get a paycheck. But there's no incentive to do anything above and beyond what you normally do in the course of a day, because you don't have no stake in it. You don't have no stake in it. They don't make you feel like, what you do matters. And it does, because you're the one doing the work. Those are the two things. I don't know. What about you?
I agree with the managers can't make more than 6 times of the lowest worker. Do like that. And they get to vote on like their salaries. So they all vote on how much money they're gonna make. And company's still profitable. So they must be doing something right.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. America, y'all got to research and do some digging, because I really believe if we start going in that direction, won't go 100%, but if we get a good chunk of companies started up in a co-op worker environment, you'll find a whole lot more companies surviving and thriving other than what we got going now. Because right now we got a mess. We got a mess. Everything is a mess. Companies aren't really producing anything. And now the argues about salaries and things of that. And the bottom line is that was the other thing he said. He said, we're not trying to make stockholders rich. We're trying to make communities. I mean, that's what America should be about. We all share in the wealth. I know that sounds foreign. I know that sounds, and some people gonna hear that and say, "Oh, what the heck is he talking about? He's crazy. He's stupid. He's this. I'm gonna get all kinds." But that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to share the wealth? Well, I mean, why is that such a bad word, a bad concept? Share the wealth.
Our culture.
Just a piece of the pie. Just a piece. Ain't nobody asking for the whole pie. Just a piece. A quarter of the pie. And I'm fine. I get to live like I want. I don't have to worry about nothing. Look at how they got everything structured. They work, they get to retire in dignity and respect. They're taken care of. They, like you said, you don't have to change your lifestyle or nothing. Continue to live like you're living, and you're taken care of. You get to grow old with dignity, respect until you pass. What more else ain't that the American dream? Ain't that what they said American dream is? That's the house with the white picket fence and the 2.5 kids. This is what they promised from way back during the World War I, World War II, Vietnam, when all this stuff was going on. It was the American dream. You can achieve it. You can have it. That's what. Well, they can if we don't work together to make it happen. I don't know, bro. Do you even see them going in that direction?
We got a few people here that they fight to go that way, but it just seems like the big business here, they put their money, into people who I mean, essentially, they just buy them. They buy them to make laws for them.
So, and also know, America, now you got it's all done under different titles, but you have a lot more of companies buying up all these other companies, creating a monopoly now than you ever had back in the day. Because back in the day, they would stop you if you got so far, you became so big, they would make you sell off, they would make you do something, but they would only allow you to get so big because of competition. Matter of fact, that same nonsense that Dave Ramsey was talking about the last time we did an episode. We was talking about the economy. He's talking about let the economy fix itself and competition. There ain't no competition. Start looking at some of these companies. You'll find out one company owns all these other little companies. They just never changed the name. But one company will own all these 10, 11 other little companies that done bought them all up because they couldn't compete, and then they sold out, and they came in and bought lowball them to buy them out because they couldn't compete these big companies. And we're getting to the point now, ain't a whole lot of competition left. So how's the economy? How Dave Ramsey, email me. How is the economy supposed to fix itself when there's no competition? As you said, competition will help fix the problem. Well, if there's no competition, then how are we supposed to fix ourselves? Just like we showed that battery company, Everready and Railback and all that. We got two major battery companies. So who's going to benefit? We're not. They just keep raising the prices. Who do we supposed to go to if we need batteries? If the two companies own each other and they keep raising the prices on both batteries, so who do we go to for competition? Who do we go to? And so you buy an off-name battery. The company that makes the railbacks are the ones that make the off-brand battery. Y'all know that, right? Y'all know that a lot of stuff y'all buy that store, what they call store brand, is made by the major company. So they just pay to put their name on it. It's the same product. They just put their name on it, and you're selling it under the store brand name. It's the same company, so they're still getting paid. You buy the store brand, they're getting paid. You buy the name brand, getting paid. They're getting paid. Meantime, you're absorbing the cost of the high prices that they charge for their profits that they don't need, to be honest. But
Yeah.
this is where we're at. And so how we would not entertain something like this. This company is successful over in the European nation. They got locations all over the place. They're thriving and doing what needs to be done. Why can't we? Why? I digress. Anything else you want to add to that?
What you was talking about, Dave Ramsey? Uh, he said removing the regulations would increase competition, but we see the exact opposite happen because if these companies are allowed to merge and buy up with the battery situation, they make 80% of the batteries because regulations have been removed. So what he's saying is not true.
Yeah. I like Dave Ramsey. Don't get me wrong. Some of his philosophies are worth looking at. Successful. He dug himself out of a hole, created an empire on helping people manage. But how he looks at how the actual economy works, as far as the what's the word of we capitalist situation. It's like there is no because it's all man made. That's I think we talked about that. If America, look at it, it's all man made. Nothing is by chance. Everything is manipulated, regulated, formulated, however you want to look at it. Nothing just happens because, stock market goes down because it's manipulated and goes up and does all this stuff. It's all insider trading. You got people that they'll put out false information in order to drive up the product and get it to a certain point. Then when it hits a certain sell point, they buy it all and then they'll drop the price and then make a killing and walk away with billions of dollars. And you the one suffering with your little two stocks, your bank, lost because they dropped the price. So it's all man-made. It's all artificial. Nothing is corrected naturally by the algorithms of the market going up and down. There isn't. Same with fuel. It's just like with the fuel. And they'd even tell you, the Arabs, when they want to manipulate the market, what do? They raise the price of the barrel of oil. Why is the barrel of oil going up? Matter of fact, I want to ask you this, because when they talk about inflation and they talk about stuff going, so let me run this by you, because I've always said that it's BS when they talk about inflation. the price. We'll go to what can I use? We'll go to price of a we'll use gas. Back in the was it the 80s? Jimmy Carter, we had the gas crisis and everybody was panicking. We had the long lines and all this other stuff about the gas. Okay, because I'm gonna tell y'all, people, back when I was a young buck, $5 to fill your tank up, and we drove gas guzzlers back then. Had big Buick 225 electric. $5 fill that 32-gallon tank up. $5 fill your tank up. Y'all don't know nothing about that. $5 will fill your tank up, and now it costs you $5 a gallon. But gas was going up, and they said, I remember they said, well, it's all temporary. Once everything corrects itself, gas prices go back down. They never dropped. They barely dropped down to $1, and in some places, I think it got down as low as 99 cents, and then it continually keeps rising up. So now, my question to you, Quentin, is what costs went up that they have to keep raising fuel prices because the fuel comes out the ground and it gets manufactured. So if the people that supplying you with parts and supplies ain't raising their price, why would the price of fuel go up only because you just want more profit? There's no need for stuff to go because if nobody raised their price, if I'm not raising my price to supply you with whatever you need, and the other person ain't raising their price, everybody leave their prices the way it is. And you're getting the stuff you need to manufacture what you need. Why would the price go up? The only reason it'll go up is so you want more profit. Now they'll turn around and say, well, cost of employees, insurance costs. Again, if everybody just keep their costs at where it's at, why would you raise your costs? Even for the employee, even if he gets a 5% raise every year, it ain't gonna take that much out of your profit. If you're making money, if you're making X amount of money, I guarantee you, look at pay structure of a company. The majority of your profits and your wages are going to the upper echelon. Cut them out, and you'll be fine. But I just want to run that by. What you think about that, and what's your opinion on it?
Usually, they say oil will go up. Somebody will just increase the price of oil for I don't know, no reason, and then that's when they say gas goes up. But now it's drilling. Now they've been drilling, and well, I mean it's still oil, but they've been drilling for natural gas too. But like one of the episodes we did when we talked about inflation is that we know now that everything went up because they've pushed the price to produce it onto us. And once they see they can increase something, and I mean, we take it, they just keep going. A lot of the stuff I feel like, it's a test. It's just like, let's see if we can get away with this. And once they realize they can get away with it, they just keep going. I mean, there's no accountability for them. They just hold them accountable. I mean, we can hold them accountable, but we got to get enough people together.
Yeah, yeah. And, so we're hoping enough people will hear this, share their thoughts and ideas. And who knows, maybe wherever you are in America, you have a group enough that you can start your own co-op, whatever that be. Even if it ain't got to be a business co-op, you can do a apartment co-op, food co-op.
Yeah.
Any structure to where y'all can come together, community, and have a say so, the running, whatever that's all it's going, that's what it boils down. That y'all have a say so in running you're doing food, housing, whatever that may be. Anyway, also want to talk to you about FEMA and this stuff going on. Again, because who knows what's reports. They'll say something and they had to come back and read because it's not the right info. But now FEMA's they talking about running out of money. People need help. The help is slowly getting there. You have outside of the government people coming from all over, man, bringing stuff there. But then even there's some reports, not a lot, but there are some reports of them being stopped because they're saying that they can't come in these certain areas. I don't know why they would stop them, if not set up staging areas where they can bring their get them distributed. But I don't even know what the purpose of FEMA is anymore because I was looking up some stuff. So Katrina, there's still houses down there that have not been demolished, taken care of. There are people down there that still have not rebuilt after all these years. This is in New Orleans. Look it up. There's still people down there in the Ninth Ward and all these other places where they can't build. Now that housing prices gone sky, now they really can't. What little monies that was given is not enough for. I have a personal friend whose family in Tarboro, Princeville,
Yeah.
Tarboro
Yeah.
area. Yeah. They still have got houses that have not been demolished or whatever. They've been condemned, but because they're still under whatever, they have not been tore down. They have not been rebuilt. They still got FEMA trailers out there sitting out in the middle of the field. I just don't get it. How can well, yeah, I do get it. Because government is inefficient when they do a lot of because they put too much in it to where it can't do what it's supposed to. Now they're telling me FEMA had all this money that they never used, and now they can't access it. Why could they not access? Why all of a sudden now they can't? If they got the money, why can't they access? It's their money. It was the money in their program. Why can't they access it? So see, none of this makes any sense because it's got to be more to the story. But my thing is, in a situation that we got going on now, especially up in Asheville and Georgia and all these other places, man, it's just been devastating. Why all this is an issue? Why are we not just getting them the help? You can figure out the money part of it later, but we should be sending help. I could care less about how much it costs. Get the help out there. Get these people back on their feet. Get their infrastructure back up because it's going to take a while to do that because you got to clear all this stuff out and then you got to go in, survey the ground. Engineers got to come in and make plans to build all this stuff back up because you got areas where whole bridges just got washed away. So now you got to come back in there and redo all what you did to put a bridge. It takes a while to put a bridge up. You just can't come in there and just put a bridge up. You got to bring the engineers in. They got to do all what they do. It's not like you just come in and put up a bridge. It takes a while to put up a. So I don't understand. But what you been hearing and what's your thoughts on
About Asheville?
Oh, FEMA in general or Asheville, yeah.
So I hadn't heard a whole lot about FEMA, but I've heard that the DOT, NCDOT have been sending trucks up there to Asheville. Walmart sent a bunch of trucks up there with supplies. They sent a bunch of trucks. Elon Musk was sending them Wi-Fi. So it looks like people are taking care of each other.
Well, in this case, I think that's where most of the help was neighbors. Neighbors taking care of neighbors. They was talking about this one guy. He lost everything. It wasn't nothing left. But he was on his ATV, going around the neighborhood giving out ham. I think it was ham sandwiches, some kind of sandwich. This man lost everything. You would think that he'd be somewhere sobbing and crying, or waddling in his own distress because nope, he got on his ATV, going around seeing who he can help, who needed something. And I think that's what it goes down to. Like you said, it's community. And until we can get that across, it's about community. It's about what we can do for one. It's never about get out of it. You can do because what you do for somebody else will come back to you tenfold. It'll come back to you. Willing to help and give of you. And if we can all put ourselves in the same playing field, it'll benefit everybody. We all be able to go to a decent. We all get to go to a decent whatever. Share. That's all. I ain't got nothing against they're making money. That's fine. But it's the everyday folks that are getting the blunt of everything. They're not taken care of, and they're looked at as that they're the issue and they're the problem. And so they're the ones stepped on, and then they made to be demonized in that they're the cause of it. And that's not the what's your
I mean, I agree with you. We got this mindset of like rugged individualism, and you would think we would have evolved from that by now, but no, we still believe in that. We still think that people get exactly what they put out, but we don't see the people that actually put out a whole lot really don't get nothing back.
All right, well, hey, let's watch a couple of these videos. This is all based. We'll watch a couple of these and then we'll come back and comment. So this one is Fox. Love Fox. Love them. Let's see what they got. This
Southeast is picking up the pieces after Helene killed more than 230 people, making it the deadliest hurricane to hit our mainland since Katrina.
Right. The Biden-Harris administration sending 500 more active duty troops to hard-hit North Carolina, bringing the total to 1,500 as thousands are still waking up without power.
Lawrence is live in North Carolina with a first-hand look of the destruction. Lawrence, what has it been like over the course of the past day or so for you?
Hey, good morning, family. You know, it's really hard to describe because it's something that you would typically look at in some movie or, you know, you hear reports about it, but when you really get here on the ground, you see just devastation like none other. Right behind me, it used to be a car repair shop. And as you can see, there's one car right here, but you see other cars that are inside of the building that are just smashed together. And to the left of me used to be a mattress shop. And it's not even visible. At first, it took us going to Google Maps to figure out what the business is. The people here are struggling. There's questions about the response here so far. And, you know, I always tell people, you know, I'm not gonna disagree with administration when they say FEMA is here. The problem is the residents aren't seeing them right now, but just a big undertaking from the people coming together here, businesses coming together, Samaritan's Purse who is on the ground. So where the government hasn't been here, you've seen the community come together, guys.
It's always the case. It's often the case. It's all too often the case, Lawrence, these days when it comes to some crisis. You look to your neighbor. Sadly, we can't look to our leaders. And I know that you spoke to many of those neighbors, many of those people in North Carolina over the last couple of days. Here it is.
We never thought it would hit up here in these mountains like this. But when we walked down and seen that road gone and that bridge gone, I mean, it took my breath. I was like, what happened?
Lots of disaster in this area, a lot dead, a lot without power and water. We don't know when the water will be restored. I don't have either right now.
My son hiked 5 miles to get me. We went through all the devastation of, there were no roads, there were no homes, there was nothing.
Just so much damage. It's been somewhat overwhelming. We feel like we're in a war zone.
And I've experienced guys coming up here from other cities packing up this free stuff that they are sending us, saying they're going to sell it. All donated goods for us. I mean, there's places that lost their homes. There's families that lost everything they had.
People have drove up and they've saw what we've got and they've just covered their face in their hands sobbing that they were able to find something to eat, something for their babies.
It's such an outreach from around the country. I mean, folks from all states coming in and they're just helping us and bringing supplies in, truckload after truckload.
So if anybody needs it, we're here. And we will, as long as we have supplies, we will be here for the long haul.
I think that our government can do more, you know, because we're going to need the help. There's roads gone. There's, you know, it's going to take a lot to rebuild us.
There's so much more that could be done, and giving us $750 if you can even apply for it is ridiculous. And I've only heard of a handful of people getting approved. $750 isn't going to do anything even if you do get approved. Not with the damage we're seeing, not with the hurting that people are going through right now.
Where is the help for Western North Carolina? We can send billions to Ukraine, and we can't help Western North Carolina. You know, we have spent all of this money on all of these people crossing our borders that are open, and now we're telling the people of America, the U.S., that need the money, we can't give you no money. That's our money. We pay it in, we work, and we should receive some benefit from the government for with our own money. It's just not right. The people of Western North Carolina that are hit hard should not be suffering like this.
I don't think she's doing enough, and I don't think Biden's doing enough either. I'm sorry, I don't. Because I heard on the radio myself, so it ain't hearsay, Biden said, what storm?
Everybody I talk to, it's pretty much a slap in the face. We're not getting the support from her, from the president, the sitting president. We're just kind of having to suffer through it and figure it out on our own.
I would say to Kamala Harris, this tragedy did not happen in a nice neighborhood downtown Asheville. Step out, get your rain boots on, get your mud boots on, your gloves on, and go out there and walk through what I hiked through for 2.5 miles to get back to Asheville, to get back to my family. You hike it. Then you tell me what it's like. You step it up. You're up your game.
President Trump will do a lot. He's gonna help us.
He's definitely showing up, and he's making it known that he knows what's going on and that he wants to help.
We don't want to hand out. We want to hand up. And that's what Trump's going to do for us. We got to get him back in there.
There's a secret method to sell literally thousands of books on Amazon
So I guess that it turned into a what's going on in Western North Carolina to a Trump rally.
Yeah.
But here's another one I wanted to show. Oh yeah, this and that. I think I said this.
Southwest states are devastated by Hurricane Helene. They will need billions of dollars in disaster aid to just get back on their feet. Earlier this week, President Joe Biden said he was considering calling Congress back to pass disaster relief funding. Joining us now to discuss all this and, of course, FEMA is the Deputy Director, Rachel O'Brien, the Deputy Public Policy Editor for OpenTheBooks.com. Hi, Rachel.
Good morning.
Good morning. What is going on with FEMA and money? I mean, some of this is a little bit alarming. The fact that FEMA could be running out of money, may not have enough money to cover hurricane relief for the rest of the season. And then, of course, the fiscal problems even before Helene. Is FEMA underwater at this point?
Right. Yes. So the most recent report from the Office of the Inspector General found that FEMA's disaster fund had a $6 billion deficit at the end of July. And so Mayorkas said either yesterday or today, FEMA doesn't have enough money to get through the hurricane season. President Biden has requested more funds in the past. Last October, he asked for about $24 billion, $9 billion of it for FEMA. Congress was busy giving aid to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and other places. They did not pass that funding for FEMA. And so part of this is FEMA's fault. They have this pot of funds of unliquidated obligations that it's referred to. It's to help victims of storms from before 2012. And it's just sitting there. It's not being used. It's money that has been promised, but it's unclear whether it will ever go to help American families. And meanwhile, that money is not right now allowed to be allowed to use to help victims of Helene or any other hurricane. So it's sort of stuck in purgatory, and FEMA's got to figure out how to get that money out.
So why is it stuck? Why is it just sitting there? Is this some sort of a legal requirement? Is it mandated by Congress? I mean, why can't that money move?
So the money is not supposed to be sitting that long, and not without a good reason. FEMA is not following their own procedures properly. They're required to use grants by a certain deadline. If that deadline is extended, then FEMA officials have to give a written detailed justification. But they've been holding on to these funds. They've been extending deadlines, sometimes without explanation. So, for example, FEMA set aside billions to help the Northeast recover from Hurricane Sandy in 2012. That money was supposed to be used by 2016. FEMA, for some reason, extended that until 2026, 10 years later. As of last year, $5 billion of that was still sitting there, still unused. They're not making it available for new victims. They're not releasing those funds. The Inspector General, Homeland Security, has said that FEMA has been extending these awards subjectively. And they said, as a result, there's a risk for fraud, waste, and abuse the longer the program remains open. So FEMA needs to get its act together and get this money out of there, especially as we see Helene and Mayorkas just said, we're running out of money for this hurricane season.
And that's the thing. I mean, you see the images on our newscasts of so many people, communities devastated, and in some cases, as you're mentioning, the money is there. So what if FEMA, so what can Congress do? What can lawmakers do? What can the president do? Can they put pressure? I mean, it's all a part of the federal government. So what needs to happen in order to get that money out of there?
That's right. Yeah. I mean, on top of those unspent funds, FEMA had a field day paying for COVID expenses. They improperly budgeted their COVID expenses during the pandemic. They spent way over than what they budgeted. That's also part of the problem, why they're in such a deep hole. Biden has said he may call Congress back in. They're in a recess right now. It's election season. So members of Congress are back in their districts. They're campaigning. And so hopefully the pressure will mount on Biden to bring Congress back and get this money passed. That's what they need. Congress would have to come back. They did pass a sort of stopgap funding measure to give $20 billion to FEMA before they left. That's not enough. $6 billion of that alone was going to address other pent-up demands from previous, floods in Vermont, the wildfires in Hawaii. So not all of that can go to hurricanes. And then FEMA also put in August, they put on hold sort of longer term projects, rebuilding projects to focus on immediate needs funding, life-saving, life-sustaining activities, day one, day two of hurricane relief. And so you have all these other problems of people, their homes are destroyed. They're sitting there waiting for FEMA money to kick in and be able to get that funds to them. And so FEMA paused 650 projects that it said were not essential for life-saving services. And that's happened many times since 2021. So Congress needs to get in and get that money. Biden needs to push them back into D.C., take them out of their districts so that they can get that money And there also needs to be better practices. This can't happen again. FEMA cannot be holding on to money for floods or hurricanes that happened in 2012 with no plans of dispersing that money.
Well, we're all watching to see what's going to happen here. Thanks a lot, Rachel. OpenTheBooks.com. Rachel Bryan, thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Angela.
Nobody knows where the money goes. Nobody knows. I want to show this thing about Lindsey Graham. He was talking about interest.
Senator, we just found out today that they raided FEMA and they have no money. They've only spent $4 million. That Harris and Biden have been completely MIA. They raided the coffers and they wouldn't even tell us. And they literally gave that money to their unvetted, 11.5 million illegals, and then offer Americans a one-time payment of $750 to North Carolina, South Carolina, your state, Tennessee, Georgia, North Carolina, two of the states that got whacked the hardest, Florida. I mean, I've never seen such utter incompetence. This is insane.
Well, it's a man-made disaster, illegal immigration. All those hotels that Eric talked about are filled with people that were flown from the border to New York. They're flying people all over the country. We're spending tens and hundreds of billions of dollars to deal with a man-made disaster. It is a Biden-Harris immigration policy was man-made. It was a choice. They repealed all the Trump policies that were working, and the rest is history. This is a natural disaster. This is something that I've never seen in my entire life. This is the largest loss of life in the modern history of South Carolina from a weather-related event. We were at 35 in the last major hurricane. We're at 39 and climbing. I live 60 miles from Asheville. I was in Aiken County today, the hardest hit county in South Carolina. No FEMA representative had been there yet. They came today after I told them to get there. There are plenty of people from FEMA working hard, but the idea of taking money out of FEMA to help illegal immigrants is just really unconscionable. You know where I'm going to look to get money to help with this disaster? There's a couple of $100 billion in the Inflation Reduction Act, which was just a Democratic giveaway that hasn't been spent. Why don't we take the money from the Inflation Reduction Act and apply it to this disaster? That's what I'll be trying to do.
Well, why don't we mobilize the Guard? Why don't we mobilize our military? Why don't we get military equipment in there? My understanding is...
Yeah. Okay, can I stop you? Governor McMaster has done a hell of a job. The South Carolina National Guard was mobilized on day one. Every person I met is singing the praise of the South Carolina National Guard. That was done by our governor. There is no DOD assets really been deployed yet. The military, 1,000 I think, went to North Carolina. They need to get in on the ground. Again, this has been slow. Kamala Harris went to Augusta yesterday. The storm was last week. She supported the strike as of yesterday. Thank God the strike has come to an end. It was killing our hospitals. Hospitals in South Carolina were running out of medicine because the port in Charleston was closed. The food on the shelves was running out because the ports had been closed because of a man-made disaster called a strike. I'm glad it's over, but it's only over because we've been kicking their ass. That's the only reason it is over. So the bottom line here is to the American people. Good.
Yeah, go ahead. To the American people, what?
Well, I've never been so upset in my life. My Guard has done a hell of a job, but it's been a week and we haven't even had FEMA teams come to the largest county in the state in terms of damage.
Well, there was no pre-positioning. Governor Kemp, he pre-positioned in Georgia. Governor DeSantis did in Florida. You had it done in South Carolina. And, we don't even know if people are alive in North Carolina 1 week later. And literally, did you hear what they did to Governor Kemp? He asked for 90 counties to be declared an emergency disaster area. He got 11, went back for the full 90, and they gave him 30. I'm like, why don't you just take your middle finger and shove it right in the face of the voters in Georgia, just like they're doing to the people in North Carolina and South Carolina, Tennessee, and Florida?
Yeah, well, supporting this strike, these ports are critical infrastructure under U.S. law. Why is that so? If the enemy of the nation attack one of our ports, it puts our economy out of service. So these ports at the most critical time in the history of the Southeast were shut down because of a strike. Joe Biden let it happen. It went on for a couple of days. It's been devastating.
Supported it.
FEMA, they supported the strike. He met me on the tarmac, and I appreciate all that's been done for South Carolina. But he was telling me about how the people running the ports are making too much money, and me and Governor McMaster said, Mr. President, if you don't get these ports up and running, we're going to run out of medicine in our hospitals. These ports are a lifeline to the people who have been devastated. You're adding misery to pain, and it looks like we've had a breakthrough, but there's no sense. The urgency that we need is missing. I promise you, President Trump would be all over this. Starlink has been a guide.
Okay, so first of all, let me say a prayer for all these people that's been affected, because I ain't seen nothing like this since. This is just terrible, and all we can do is play politics back and I don't like you said, we don't have compassion for this is and then misappropriate of funds and money that to help people get back on their feet. We're arguing about what can be touched, what is, I don't know. What's your assessment?
I don't know. It's pretty bad. And like, how does something like that even happen? How is it that, I mean, is FEMA not, is there no overseeing committee? I mean, what happened? You know, is the director answerable to the president? Somebody, they got to be answerable to somebody. How were they allowed to do this?
Exactly. We'll have to look that up. I have no idea. They got to fall under the president, I guess, or Homeland Security. I don't know who they fall under. But you're right. Somebody has to answer for it, because you're telling me that all this money was accessible. They should have no money, because between all the hurricanes we done had since, it should be no money left. I just don't understand how there's even any money sitting there. It needs to be utilized.
Right.
I tell you this. So when I was stationed at Camp Marine Corps, I was down there when Hurricane Hugo came to South Carolina, and now that was a nasty one too. I don't know if a lot of people remember, but the storm surge came all the way into South Carolina, all the way to Florence, and across 95. It came all the way. When that happened, they activated us. Well, not activate us to go down there. They sent us down there immediately. I mean, they loaded up all our units, just about it, packed up the trucks and down there, those people, to take supplies and just. So I don't understand the delay in sending troops. I don't understand. I don't understand the delay. You don't have to activate the National Guard. You already got the Army, the Marines, the Air Force. You already got people on active duty. They should have already been active to go down there. The Air Force, that's what they do, transport supplies. So you got people already in position to do something. Most units are ready to deploy in less than 24 hours. Once given the order, less than 24 hours, they're up and gone wherever they need to go. So we went into South Carolina and helped those people out. I forgot how long we was even down there, but we was moving supplies and helping folks, moving stuff. I mean, we did a lot down there. So I don't understand at all. You got to answer to that. I just don't understand.
I don't either. I mean, it's not a good look for the current administration. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I know that Asheville has a UNC hospital, and someone I know said that their son works at the UNC system here, so they're gonna send them to Asheville. So a lot of these places are moving people around themselves. But I don't know. I mean, the National Guard should be there. I know DOT's in Asheville. I don't know a lot about what South Carolina's got going, but I mean, people should have been there helping like the very next day.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like it was a surprise. I mean, you had already they was already sending snapshots of the devastation while it was happening. So at that time, yeah, some kind of game plan get help in there should have been formulated then, so that when everything was over, you already got stuff. I mean, I think we're on the outside looking. Well, I ain't gonna say right. Yeah, on the outside looking in, and everybody says hindsight is. You don't know what's going. You're right. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. Sitting there and have that is about how they're going. But what I do know is that people that's needed the help ain't getting it, and the people that's being affected ain't getting. So I do know that much. And I know that y'all just sitting around making crazy decisions about nothing that has nothing to with nothing, when it should be just deploy what you need to deploy, do it strategically, and get the help too. I don't know all this thing about money and all this other stuff. That one old lady, she said, I heard it on the radio so I know it's not hearsay.
Yeah.
I thought that was cute. She said she heard it on the radio, so I know it's not hearsay. But we take something so tragic and we turn it into a campaign rally. I know if Trump was in charge, he'd be all over. Do we really know?
We don't, because we've had issues. We got other issues in America that we've had for a few years and nobody did. But I want to say when they kept bringing up the FEMA gave money to the immigrants. Well, Fox News also has a article, a headline, which says FEMA head denies agency is short on money for disasters because funds went to illegal immigrants. So they got to stop saying that, because it's more division, and they're picking on, when they say illegal immigrants, the regular people who hear this, the crazies, they're not going to specify. They're going to go after anybody who looks like it, like they did last time. So they shouldn't say that.
Yeah, I agree. 'Cause at this point, that don't have nothing to do with nothing. So yeah, to say that, well, the reason they don't have no money because it really is. So why would you say that? Just to stir, well, like you said, to stir up division, to stir up trouble. That's all it is. Yeah. We haven't seen, this is just the tip of the iceberg. We got, 30 something days left before the election. They ain't even begin to pull. We're going to see all kinds of prior. But again, folks, you vote for who you want. Remember, once they in office, you're stuck. So I look at it like I said, if I vote for anybody, I'm gonna vote for. No, he don't. It's not a big following, but you never know what might. Maybe everybody. What's the other lady that's running
for the Green Party?
Yeah,
Jill Stein.
Yeah, she's getting so who knows? She might get. You never. This, like I said, this election is gonna be very, very interesting. I think people are just tired of the rhetoric, stupidity, and it's time for it. And the only way you're gonna see a change is to get vote them all out. Put new blood up and go in a direction. That's lead them people in office, the same old mess, same old situation. We're gonna be having the same old conversations. Come next election, all of a sudden, here we go back to the border again. The borders, immigration's, Ukraine's an issue, Israel's an issue. I mean, we just keep going around the same scenario over, and because we got the same people. So abortion will be an issue because it ain't gonna get solved. It's not gonna get changed. Come next election anyway. I tell you what. I want to end on a positive. So I want us to end on a positive. So we was talking about the co-ops and worker co-ops and just so I know a lot of you people know who Paul Newman, the famous. He also started his company called Newman's Own salad dressing. He has some other, all very good, especially like I was telling Quentin. I've been getting his pieces for a while. They're very most people might not realize his company 100% his profit is a charity, and that's just that's what happens. But this is what happens when you have a heart for people, compassion, and know that you can use your platform to help others that you would. So this is just a short 2-minute thing about his company. The CEO that runs it was interviewed for Fox Business. I got all this from Fox. I apologize, but I was trying to find stuff that. So take a listen. Like I said, I want to end on.
Away from Thanksgiving, but some companies give all year round. Newman's Own donates 100% of its profits to charity, giving away more than $400 million since 1982. Newman's Own chairman and CEO and Newman's Own Foundation CEO and president Bob Forrester is with me to talk more about it. Bob, good to see you.
Good to see you, Maria.
Thank you so much for joining us. First off, the product is terrific. Paul Newman started this company. When Paul Newman started this company, was that his goal to give all the money away?
No, not really. Actually, when Paul started the company, it was a little bit of a lark on his part. He used to give away his salad dressing for Christmas gifts, and somebody encouraged him to put it in the store, and he did. And as he used to say, it was a joke that got out of hand. But the moment, well, he was actually being interviewed once, and somebody said, well, can an actor, what do you know about business? And how can you give away all your money? This isn't going to work. And that's all Paul needed to hear to get competitive. And so he had two principles, that quality would trump profits. And if we had profits, we'd give it all away. And 32 years later, as you say, it's over 400 million.
Wow, that is just fantastic. So it is working. What are the charities that are the beneficiaries here? Where does the money go specifically?
Well, we have, we donate broadly across the globe. Most of it in the United States, about 25%. Internationally, particularly in the developing world. One of our principal charities is the Serious Fund Children's Network. Paul started a camp for children with life-limiting medical conditions. The first year, 280 kids. This year, it'll be 75,000, 17 camps and programs all over the world. And we're about 20% of that support, which in our case is about $6 million a year, though. And then we spread it out. We have a water network. In fact, some business people here in New York joined with Paul John Whitehead and Josh Weston from ADP and myself and others to try to build.
So many people don't even have access to water in the world.
Over 1 billion people don't have access to safe drinking water, and it's a complex problem. So what we really believe in is bringing not just a philanthropic solution, but a business-based philanthropic solution. So the water gets sold.
Yeah.
But we capitalize our CapEx through philanthropy.
You brought over some products. Is the dressing the hottest seller?
The dressing is our core product. It is our biggest seller, but our hottest sellers right now are our new frozen pizza entree and our frozen entrees themselves. Those are our newest additions, and they're going really strong.
I could see that. Bob, good to have you on the show today. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Maria.
Come back soon. Bob Forrester, Newman's Own Chairman and CEO. We'll get back to the...
So it can be done. We can help one another. We can be a lifeline. We can be a beacon of light for those that are in. We don't have to hoard. We don't have to make all of them. We can learn to love. We can learn to share the love, or as they like to say, share the wealth. I mean, what a better world this would. I know people going to hear this and say it's just such a. But you know why? Because everybody's just selfish, all about me life. That's all. That's just like now. If I gave what I could to the Red Cross disaster relief. I just went online and gave when all this happened. I gave what I can give and get paid on Friday. I'm gonna give a little bit more. Give what I can. If everybody just gives a little, but you know, and again, people gonna say you can't tell nobody. I'm not telling nobody what they should do with their company, with their money, with their profit. I want them to actually look at and see that they can be a better benefit to society. You can be a benefit. You can more than what you are. CEO of Fortune 500. You can be a CEO that has reached out, touched, and helped hundreds of thousands wanting to help distribute your profits or however you want to help others. I mean, I'm just I know Danny Thomas and the St. Jude provides help for sick children of that nature. People that go there 100 paid for. They don't have to come out of their pocket. Heck, one corporation could back them and do a lot of good. Just one corporation can back them, contribute to them, put it in your pockets and go to the Riviera, your next, whatever you with your money. Again, it's your money. You do what you want. I don't know. Am I selfish, Quentin? Am I selfish? Am I like talking out the side of my neck, or is it? You tell me, brother. Tell me.
No, I don't think you are at all. There's been people over the years who've been saying the same thing. And as we see, Paul Newman implemented it, so no, I don't think it's selfish at all. I think it's selfish to take and not give back. It's selfish to demand all this stuff from your workers and your employees as an example and not pay them enough to live. So yeah, no, I don't think it's selfish at all.
We could be, they keep throwing around the term. What is it? Make America great again. All right, I'm about to piss you off. I'm gonna piss you off. I'm sorry. America's never been, okay? I'm gonna tell you. We were at a point, we could have been great back in, I tell you right, it was right coming out of the Depression and going into the Industrial Revolution was having when we was manufacturing, we was discovering stuff, we was building stuff, we was inventing stuff. That's when the house with the picket fence started coming out and they were building neighborhoods. People was coming back from the war, huh?
The 50s.
Yeah. People was coming back from the war and they was giving them money to go into these neighborhoods. They were building these neighborhoods and houses. I mean, that was the cusp of us probably being a great America. But greed and profit and all the other stuff and the hatred, prejudice, and all the other stuff that comes along in America was in the mix of all that, blew all that up. So we've never been great. We've never treated one another with dignity and respect. We've never looked out for one another. And I'm talking about as a whole. Don't start hollering and screaming about I'm talking about as a whole, as an American, if we're supposed to be so great, then we would have looked out for one another. We would have helped one another. We would have done for what we haven't. All we've done is just go after, criticize. I mean, it's hard. It's 2024, and we still got Ku Klux Klan people. All they did was rebrand them. That's all. Now they're the Proud Boys, all this other crazy stuff. But because they're still spewing out the same hatred, still calling everybody N-word. I mean, really, they just rebrand themselves, and they still have the same policy, the same hate. I don't get it. Because all of us, All of us bleed the same thing, blood. You just might have type A, type B, type O, negative. Who knows? But it's all blood. And you know the sad thing is? The sad thing is, at the end of the day, when it's all said, when your life is over, we all are going to end up in that same box in the church, in the casket. The only difference is some of us is going up and some of us is going down. That's the only thing that's going to separate us at the end of the day. Because whatever you do now is going to be a reflection of your life. So either you can die, leave a legacy of doing good for others, or you can leave a legacy of just selfish, accumulate all this mess to leave for other people to fight over when it's all said and done, because that's all they're going to fight over. You're going to have cousins and uncles coming out the woodwork trying to claim part of your fortune. You could have used that fortune for the greater good of mankind, that when you leave here, you know that you did all you could to help if you want to make America great again. How about let's just make America great and leave it? But that's my final comment. What about you? What you got? What's your final words?
Oh, I agree. Same thing. Just we need to love each other. I mean, this is it. We all go to the same place. As Cornel West always says, you gotta figure out what kind of person you want to be from womb to tomb.
That's true. You got to figure it out, and you better figure it out quick. Cause some I can't remember, but I always use. I can't remember. Probably quite a few people. They say you look at the tomb, and you got your begin date and your end date, and you got this little dash in the middle. And that little dash represents everything you did on this earth. So that lets you know we ain't got a whole lot of time, because that little dash ain't so big. But I don't know. People get caught up in ambitions and things, and they think they're supposed to achieve this. The American dream is a lie. Okay. It's a lie, the American dream, as far as we can do, because depending on who you are and where you came from and what your background is, will determine what you're going to have access to and what you don't have access to. Just saying. We got countries. Oh, I meant to tell you this, Quentin. I didn't know this. But if you are a in-state student in Georgia, I think, yeah, Georgia, they pay for your college.
Oh, really?
I just found that out. I'm sorry, I didn't know. I just found that out. If you live in the state of Georgia, yeah, it's Georgia. If you live in the state of Georgia, if you're a resident of Georgia, I'm pretty sure you got to apply. I'm sure there's some, but they pay for your college if you're in.
It's a pretty good incentive.
So I wonder how many people have moved to Georgia just for that incentive. But so it can be done. People talk about education and college and all the other stuff. So Georgia can pay for their students in their state to go to college and pay for all the other states can. I mean, we got the education lottery that collects millions upon millions of dollars. Now you got sporting then came to know, now you can bet you getting the state is getting the cut of that. You got all these internet cafes. They're nothing but legalized gambling halls. That's all they are. They're paying their fair share of taxes because of what they do. So the money's there. What are they doing with it? Why would you not want to invest in your people? I mean, why would you not invest in your children? Why would you not want you? Somebody was telling me, I was watching something, and this might be off topic. I was watching something. The guy said that the education is nothing but teaching you how to be a worker. It's teaching you how to work and adapt. It's I forget the word. To get you programmed.
Conformity.
There you go. That's it. You probably heard this. Yeah, you heard the same thing. When he, it was funny. He was laying down some heavy knowledge, and I was listening. I was like, I thought back. I'm like, he was right. If you think about it, the education system is not teaching anybody anything. It's just teaching you how to be a worker and how you can conform. Exactly.
And they always say that if school did takes kids and amplify what their gifts are, instead of teaching them a bunch of mess that they won't use or it's old, outdated information, they won't be lost and confused after high school. Because I'll tell you, they told me something about 80% of people didn't get the job they went to college for. And then you get a bunch of them that get there to get to school and they change their major 2 or 3. So what did they learn?
You are right about it. You know what? You are right. Because I know quite a few that went to college for whatever they went. And they end up, they just got that college degree, which I guess they can commit this to 4 years of college, commit themselves to something. I guess. I don't know. You're right. A lot of people have gone to college and not even working in the field so why would we not direct them direction probably should be? And there's a lot of programs that have been developed that I don't even know. They had one I know when I was in, it was only for nursing. It was only nursing. You would get in this program, you in the summer, you're taking these classes, you graduate. All you had to go 2 years. You did all your core stuff and everything while you was in high school and got all that stuff and if you wanted to get the rest of 2 years associate. I thought that was pretty neat. Only thing they required, and it was all paid for. The only thing they required that in the state. So somewhere in the state of North Carolina, you had to work in that teaching for 3 years at wherever, as long as it was in the state of North. And then after that, you're obligated to take. Makes sense to me.
Yeah.
The infrastructure full of qualified people, our work that needs to be done. And you take the financial burden off of me getting that, they becoming a doctor. Look at all the money. I don't know how they do it. And then some of them stay in debt forever.
Yeah.
Trying to pay it back. I mean, they've been people interviewed at 50, still paying back a loan from them going to medical school. That's
you pay longer on your degree than you do your house.
Yeah, exactly. Does anybody see anything wrong? I don't know. Like I said, that was off top. Again, America, we just showing y'all an alternative. We just want y'all to have a conversation other than what they talk about on Fox and all them other ones. Have a real conversation, real talk. Have a real conversation on solutions that can really benefit. Just like we discussed at the beginning of this workers' co-op. They've been doing it. How many years were they been doing?
Since 56.
Since 56. And have developed it and made it better and better and better. And now they're all over there in the European. It can be done. It's a lot of things that the European areas they're doing over there that we can do here and be very successful. But again, when you start talking about people, profit, you touch my profits, my money, and it just basic. But somebody's going to have to make a choice, and who's that going to be? Republican? Be the Democrats? I don't think so. So it's going to take new blood, new insight, new office to make some of these ideas come to light. Other than that, we're going to keep going around the same old. Any last words, my brother?
I don't have any.
All right, America, that's it. I hope that they benefit you, that we planted a seed in good soil, and that you can go out tomorrow at the water cooler or wherever you had tomorrow and have an in-depth conversation about some real solution to problems. But we thank you, and we tuning in. You can do us a favor. You share, like, leave a review. I checked emails today. Nobody sent the email. Our email address is in the description. Email. You can leave a description, or you can leave your comments in the comment section for this video when it posts down at the bottom. You can do that as well. Many ways you can get your thoughts to us. We can talk about them. We love to bring them to the show and have it. We don't know everything. We're just two guys having a conversation about life. That's all. And so you're welcome to join the conversation. But again, leave a review, share. It would help amazing people like you find this video, and we thank you for that. But that's our show for today. We hope this is a benefit to you. Until the next time, this is Parker, along with my brother, Mr. Quentin Williams. Sir, we appreciate you.
Thank you.
And until the next time, we ask that you stay safe, stay warm, support your fellow brothers in Asheville, Georgia, South Carolina, wherever they are. They all need help. Let's support them the best we can, whatever you can give, whether it's your time, your benefits, your money, whatever you can do, help support them, because they got a long road. It's a lot of damage. We want to show them our love. We don't need the government. Reach out and help them. Appreciate you, Mary. We love you. Until the next time, as always, God bless.